Alrighty, folks. I got videos I haven't posted. Here's my audio. Yeah, I'm going bald. Alright, we're gonna talk about bullying, my balding, band-aids, batteries. Who knows? We're there. We're everywhere. So, finally 45. My plan, folks, for the next 5 years better than the last 45. As far as productivity, loving my wife, myself, my kids. I'm gonna get my house. Don't know how. I'm gonna trust God for that. But I feel like I haven't done these in a while. I've done some little quick gym ones I haven't posted. I've done a couple I've posted, but I've been just slacking, folks. I'll be honest. I got in my own head, and I was like, ugh. And I just had to, eat the frog, bite the frog. Eat the frog is at the book. I don't know, get the point, but my little beard. How you like that, folks? I kind of like it. I shaved for my birthday recently, and I haven't shaved. No, I think I might shave like once still, but whatever. Got my flag shirt there. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah. You can't really see my gains too well, but I got gains, folks. Now, seriously, folks, I've been in the gym doing my shoulders, things I haven't done before. Shout out to King Toe and Ironclad Gym, man. The new equipment is just fantastic. I'm going less heavy, which is great for my joints and I'm older, etc. But I'm pretty in good shape. So I've never really hurt myself or been a massive heavy lifter. So I worn out my joints. I didn't play a lot of sports like basketball or football. I was running down the court or anything, so I'm good. But oh man, the time under tension for my muscles, fantastic. My width is growing everywhere. My upper body, that is. My legs, I don't train my legs heavy. I'm going to start doing this because I think when I do my quads and my hams, which your hams, basically the front of your the front top of your leg and the back, it'll boost my testosterone like 300% initially. And, as you get older, your numbers drop precipitously. I think I used that word right. Will, let me know. You better see this one, Will. Comment. Man, I'm sending it to you too. And yes, folks, I still do my manicure. And yes, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's too long. No. It'll get cut this weekend, but I'll do my haircut. So I'm thinking about doing a straight up baldy. Will, I know you've been advocating for that, but I just do it like this is a one. I might try to get a half clip, or just do it with just extend the blade out. But that's neither here nor there, folks. What I want to talk today is we're in day 30, or an hour or so away from day 30 of the government shutdown. It's crazy. There was I think an airport in Washington had to be shut down. There's no flights going out because there were not TSA employees. Nope. There were not enough air traffic controllers. So TSA, air traffic controllers, essential workers basically right now in the government have to work, not getting paid. There are federal workers who want to food banks. I saw an interview with a lady who had a food bank. They're like, can you handle the volume that you're going to have increase of just the federal workers? She's like, we were never intending that. She's like, for every one meal, I forgot that I forgot one meal that someone else covers, the food banks cover like 9. So basically, the nonprofits are like, hey, no questions asked, just show up, we'll give you a box of food. They're already overworked, and it's going to get worse for them. So you got people who are not getting paid. They're not going to get a paycheck tomorrow or Saturday. Probably tomorrow. I don't think it'll be a Saturday, but you got thousands of people not getting paid. It's about to increase. Now, if on the first they don't get paid, they're going to have to look for other work. So that changes. And then you add in companies that, I don't think it's NVIDIA, I think it's NVIDIA is now a $5 trillion company. I forgot, one company's worth $5 trillion. Another company's going to be huge. It's ridiculous. Amazon's going to lay off at least 100 to 600,000 employees. I don't think 600, probably 100,000. By 2026, 2027. Maybe it was 600,000. I don't know how many employees they have. I should have done better prepared. I just don't care, folks. It's wild, but there's thousands of layoffs happening this week, next week, and then over the next month. Thousands. A lot of office jobs. A lot of people do, not really C-suite, but mid-level management. Tons of those are going to happen now. Adding the fact that 42 million people are not getting their snaps. So I did some research here. There's a chart going around. I used to patch with the other people, but the top 4 people by race or ethnicity or location that are in America getting SNAP benefits, EBT, food stamps, etc. 45% was Afghan, 42 or 45% was Somali. Iraqi was like 30 plus, and Haitian was 23 plus. I think Dominicans were like next in line, the Native Americans, then like Puerto Ricans. But I think the illegal immigrant population alone is something. Put it this way, SNAP. We put $100 billion into SNAP last year. People are like, oh, we have $1 billion for this company, $1 billion for that war. 100 billion is kind of crazy, folks. So when you compound those numbers, why are there 42 million people getting SNAP? Now, folks, when I first moved to Florida, I had WIC and EBT. I had WIC for a little bit, and I had EBT. My EBT was like $300 a month. I was making like $14 an hour back then. Family of 3 with a baby. And he had to have formula, so that, just the way things worked out, he had to have formula. We leave a personal details aside. You're not HIPAA. You need to know. Well, HIPAA protects us from but you get the point. But then, because I got some overtime, So instead of being broke, I could kind of eat well. I got cut from 400 to 84 to 0. And I was a working person, and I was trying to feed my family. Couldn't pay my credit cards. I'd been lived off them because my city 401k and my union rules, blah, blah, blah. I was entitled to my last $3,000. So the money I would have needed, I had to start dipping in. And I thought I planned it right. I didn't know that was my fault. But I thought I was vested. Didn't matter. I didn't retire. I resigned. They got me. Should I take the last of the folks that bother you? Go up here. So I don't know if it bothers you. It don't really bother me, but I'm like, I feel like I'm like, ooh, look, I got the techno Google glass. You can see the video. No, that's, by the way, I'm watching the Cutler cast from 2 days ago. It has 98,000 views already from number 183, Lee Priest. Look up Lee Priest, look at Jay Cutler, not the football player. But folks, on November 1st, people are not getting their SNAP. Now, there's people who sell their food stamps for a profit. I've seen people getting 10 grand, saying they're getting 10 grand. That's one guy's like, I don't work for nobody. How I look having a boss. The taxpayer works for me. Another lady was like, this lady was white, so it's not just black, it's not just Spanish, it's not just Iraqi, it's people of every race. She's like, how am I going to feed my 6 kids? I get $6,000 a month, blah, blah, blah. How am I going to do my nails? Why is that paying for your nails? You can get the $3 nail polish, do it yourself, or just cut them real short and get a buffer and you don't put nothing on them. I've seen people saying, I'm going to wear my steel-toed boots and I'm going to wear my helmet for my motorcycle and come and get me. I'm 260. There's a woman saying, I'm 260. I'm Bill Solid. I will knock you out. People are literally advocating for robbing stores. And I saw one fat guy in Brooklyn. He was fat. I mean, he was like, usual suspects. He was like orca fat. I'm being smart. Like, but shout out to Kevin Spacey for that one line. I know people hate him. He's coming back and acting now. Interesting that he did a thing like kill your enemies with kindness, something like that. One of his people testified to him died like a week later. But whatever. It's like doing conspiracy. Just throw some out there for you. So, people are openly advocating. Like I said, the fat guy, he was huge. Like this guy must be 5'10" to 6 feet. He has to be 300-400 pounds. He's like, for my people in the city, we don't got Walmart. We don't got this. But you know what we got? We got Bravo. We got this. We got C-Town. I forgot. He's naming stores that are, more local to the inner city areas where I used to live. Bravo, C-Town, Key Food. Those might be chains, but a lot of times they're not locally owned, but they're smaller business in theory. Plus, their margins are razor thin. So you're advocating robbing the guy who's taking care of your neighborhood. Now, what happened, if you look at a lot of states and what's happened the last 4 to 8 years, people are just like, nope, we riot and we rob and we want. So what happens if CVS leaves, the Walgreens leaves, the Rite Aid leaves, the Walmart puts things behind glass. So now you have less access. In California, the hospital's taking care of tons of people. They went to the state, to Newsom and the senators. People say, hey, we need money. So the hospital shuts down in the middle of I forgot areas, like more densely populated and more impoverished neighborhood. The hospital's lost. Say, hey, we're taking care of the Narcan, the overdoses, the prostitutes, the shootings. All these people are getting out on, ROR, no cap, no bail. So what's happening is the crime is being increased because there's no penalty, so you do whatever you want. And now the people who are getting shot, stabbed, overdosing, because they're not being put in jails getting real actual help, they just keep going in. So now the Medicaid goes up. The SNAP has gone up. So now on the 1st, are you going to go to Walmart? Because there's 2 things that can happen. People can riot, they can steal, they can shoot, they go crazy. Or they might just say, hey, look, this guy came out in the Spanish, we call it big compra, right? Maybe he got a big cart full of food. Maybe my homie's going to rob him. I have my concealed carry permit. I am proficient enough probably to stop a few people, but if there's 10, what am I going to do, folks? See, my thing is this, is that if there's illegal immigrants getting benefits, they should not be getting benefits. I saw one lady said, what do I look like? She said, what do I look like working 20 hours a week? Folks, I work 40 to 42. I'm salaried, but I put in extra time because I'm just like, I want to get my numbers up. They allow me to work from home. I navigate some family issues. Let me sit a little straighter here. So my boss, because she's my bosses, and I have a direct manager and I guess you'd call it a senior manager, and HR too. Shout out, thank you, please, thank you. They've been good to me, but folks, I want to make sure I stay top 4. Depending on the day, I'm top 2 in any metric given. Today was a little lower, but I had other stuff to do. I had appointments I was running in the middle of the day. So the last couple of days I've had to run appointments in the middle of the day. Plus, I leave my personal business out. I'm taking care of a family of 4. I'm trying to do 90% of it myself. It's easier for my wife. She can heal and do what she has to do. So my kids can be okay. My son broke his finger. He's got this huge cast on the whole arm because he broke the pinky sideways in gym. And I added ignorance to invalidism. It's not a word, I'm just being smart. Adding notes. His gym teacher started playing gym. We emailed him specifically the portal that's required, so we have documented blah, blah, blah. He's still in the gym, so I'm going to deal with that tomorrow with the AP. I just like to deal. The school system out here they're weird, but I don't really worry about it because they don't have to be really good. If they can teach them the basics, I'm teaching my kids how to think. I'm teaching them common sense. I'm teaching them money from a young age. During COVID, I'd bring home like $500 for my son. This is a $100 bill. 5 of these is $500. These are 20s. 5 of these is 100. I have 4 sets of these 5s plus the 100. That's 500. Here's 5 pennies. That's a nickel. 5 nickels is a quarter. I would teach him to spade. I want to understand math. It's people are like, oh, we don't want to talk about math. If you're a rich dad, poor dad, his poor dad was like, I can't afford him because of you kids. He never want to talk about money. A lot of poor people don't want to talk about money. Rich people talk about it on the table. His rich dad was like, I have to find a way to afford it because I have you, my children. Then your head, folks. So, folks, if there's going to be rioting, looting, robberies, mayhem on the 1st, and it's interesting, too, because look at this. I was reading someone saying that she gets hit twice because she lives in California and she works in a grocery store. So I don't know how she's making money, first off. And she's on food stamps. So her point was, she's like, it's going to hit her twice. Because she's like, if people have to close the stores, like Walmart's, they might let people in the store, and others, grocery stores, they're going to limit, they're doing online access, when you serve my people in the store at times, we can, mandate stuff. Now, Walmart's not made an official statement. Let me segue there. Walmart's not made an official statement saying they only went online. But people are reporting armed security guards and a greater presence in different states and areas. But she's like, you know what? She's like, if they cut the food stamps, I'm not going to get that money I need. She's like, and then if the store has lowered traffic, well, we don't need 10 full-time employees. Cut the full-time to half or send 2 home, or maybe this week you're full-time, next week you're half-time, so we don't cut you as hard. I've seen people that, 09, 2010 when the economy crashed. I knew we had one summer that had the temp workers, or what we call substitutes, paras. This week one would work 3, the other would work 2, the next week we work 2, so they kind of only cut them. It still cut them. They only got 5 in a paycheck, but still got a way to make it fair, keep them coming in and kind of make it, we're doing what we can do for you and fair. So if she gets her hours cut and her food stamps cut, she loses double. So for someone like that, I kind of feel sad. But at the same time, I also wonder, I just got my bachelor's degree, went into more debt for it. But it also put money in my pocket while I was doing it, which is good because my job wasn't paying benefits. It was paying me good money for the hours, but I didn't get paid. I had less than 40 hours, and I didn't get paid for my vacation time like I would have doing the same job if I actually worked for the school system. But, folks, I went back to school, got my bachelor's in my 40s with kids. When my wife doesn't work, she can be home for the kids and take care of the house. So I can do stuff. I wonder if there's people who are. And I'm sure there's some people who do. Guns, right? You can't see, right? But there's a lot of people, folks, who just... If you see my car cat, so I'm going to pause for a beverage so I get dried out doing these. Oh, yeah. Get that H2O, folks. For those who don't know... Get your dihydrogen monoxide up. Yes, it's dangerous chemical. But no, serious, folks. Congress shut down, but they're still getting paid. TSA workers are not getting paid. Air traffic workers are not getting paid. Federal workers who are essential are not getting paid. There's people providing security service for the government not getting paid. And people worried about, the ballroom in the White House. The conspiracy saying he's digging up a secret cabal thing or whatever. Other people are like, why is he digging it up? He's ruining a piece of the White House. He's ruining a part of it. Even if he rips the whole thing. First of all, he's paying the $250 million out of his pocket. When Obama was president, he did something like $350 to $370 million of upgrades, repairs, and it wasn't a problem. And it came out of our budget, the taxpayers. Pirates, like pirates. Sorry, I'm reading pirate books in my head, and I was telling one of the managers, we work from home chat, like, hey, we're working from home, but let's have a connection. Pretty cool. Thank you who did my job, so it's very cool to see stuff like that. But, we have unemployment. Oh, and there was a rate cut, Fed rate cut. People are saying expecting 3 more. This one was 0.25%, I think. Basis points on that, I don't really understand. But Jerome Powell also might be out next year. We'll see. But, it's interesting because the Supreme Court has said you can't do something, but a lot of these judges are going out and doing it on their own anyway. So we have a lot of judicial activists, we'll call them, trying to limit the power of the president. And then we have people complaining about the president firing people, but how there are things, folks. The government is shut down. And when that works out to is, first off, if the government's not working, everything falls on the executive branch. It is their requirement. It is written in the way things work, the power. So when people are like, he's firing more people, he's doing things he can't do. Legally, he's allowed to do it. Go read up. Next up, we could have a bill to fix a shutdown, but you need 60 votes to make it happen. There's, I believe, 53 Republicans voting for, yes, let's get this done. So it requires 6 or 7. Let's say it's 53 or 7. 7 liberals / Democrats call them, and this will be done. It's over. It'll be fixed. So you can't blame the president when it's an issue in exactly the executive branch is doing it. Folks, we don't need 1.35 trillion of spending. They want money for foreign countries. They want money for healthcare. Here's another thing, folks. My job, we had a meeting about this. Or they did a PowerPoint. They're looking for open enrollment to find some better providers. Price going up. So Obamacare, I guess it's, it rolls around right now. They have to recap or re-add. People are looking at 40% increases minimum. Some people are looking at 114 to 140% increase in their premiums. So you're paying $2,000 and it's going to go up 140%. Think about that. If you're on the Obamacare free plan, now it can't be free for you. And also, I think something like 90,000 people will no longer be eligible for EBT or SNAP because they're illegal immigrants or they have a different status. So a lot of people who are not going to be happy. And as some people point out, there are a lot of people who sell their food stamps. So they're losing income. And a lot of people who are racking up, they're waiting to have $1,500 to go spend and get 3 cars. That money might not be there come the first. Because it might not roll over. It generally speaking, rolls over. It might not. And there are people like, I'm not working 20 hours a week. I understand, folks. My grandfather only had Meals on Wheels. He got some stuff, and we took care of him, of course. But our elderly and our infirm, who are American citizens, should get first. And this is why I say that, folks. Before you start getting mad, call me some kind of bigot or xenophobe, or whatever. I can't pay your rent and pay mine. I can't afford it. It's just not reasonable. So why are we paying for other people's needs before our own? So you pay your rent and your electric first, right? Maybe you tithe, maybe you give to the food bank, maybe even just volunteer. That's all you can do to have money. But you're not going to give the money for your kids' food to someone else, are you? See, folks, when we pull these huge bills, the money comes out of your kids' back. The dollar's worth almost nothing, folks. So, see, silver. Let's try to get this right. This is from a company called Local Pecunia. There are a bunch of military people who we hate the way the Fed works. And so if you look at it as a day, it tells you what's in your pocket. It's definitely a $100 bill, December 23rd, 1913 to 2013, 100th anniversary of the Federal Reserve, which is not a federal entity, it's private. I carry my pocket because an ounce of silver gives me a backup, but an ounce of silver now, folks, is broke over 50. If you get rid of the paper market, you're on Hinge from Gold and all the stuff they've done, with their foolishness, folks, there are places that can't make deliveries. Premiums are ridiculous. Junk silver, forget about it. Constitutional silver, which is considered junk, but I meant more like the spoon and stuff. The market for that, they're not even taking it because they have to refine it to get out. See, folks, silver is not just like gold where you make jewelry. Silver's used gold is used in computers, but it's not to the level of silver is. Even copper, folks. Copper is used in other countries that have less, wealth in America. You know what they do? They make surgery equipment. Why? Because it's sterile. Silver is the most electrical conducting metal, I believe, is how they say it. So silver's good in computers, weapons, spaceships, chemical processing. Pick a business, silver works. So you can invest. It might be too late for you, but silver might hit 100, folks. There's a guy, it wasn't Doug Case, I remember he wrote a book, Case for Silver at 1,000. And basically my rules was buy up to 30. I think I bought over 30. I've bought at over 30. I haven't bought recently, but don't come for me, folks. Don't even come for me if you know who I am, where I live. I'm at a 2AU all over the floor. And that's not a threat, it's a promise. I don't make threats. I will do anything to protect my family, folks. I'm a sheepdog. So put that aside, folks, but if something like 42% of the people on food stamps should not get them because they're not citizens. Now you say, everyone needs the right to live. I saw one video from TikTok that was posted on my Telegram. It's like being able to eat and have food, that's a human right. How you gonna tell where they do that though? She's pierced to wazoo. She's got to be 250, 300 pounds. Now, some people are way I get it, but I've seen a lot of people who look healthy or like they could work, or I've seen a lot of people who just look massively obese. And they're all making the same video calling for riots and wild and they're cursing and screaming and why aren't you working? Why aren't you going to hustle? Heck, go on. You're posting YouTube and TikToks. Make a video. People are getting crazy. There's people in Trump's cabinet and work with him. They're moving to military bases. The National Guard is every state has to make 500 people ready for massive critical response for for civil unrest, blah blah. Folks, we might have riots. We might have the summer where they just be the fall of failure. Well called the fall of failure. We might have riots, we might have wild, we might have nothing. Maybe something gets averted tomorrow. I don't know. But I'm not working as I plan ahead. Also, I'm off tomorrow, so I'll be buying more goods, and I'll be getting my tires rotated and all the stuff I got to do. I'm running a bunch of errands tomorrow. I'm also off Monday. I will work Saturday. But, it's Saturday's different. It's a whole different flow. Shout out to my weekender. You know who you are. I keep names out because I don't know if you like my business and your business. Out there. We both work from home, so I'm going to see that person on site. But, I just don't like putting people's names out because I don't feel like I have the right to throw them out there on social media. But that's just my business. Ooh, my battery's getting low. So, folks, I'm going to close this out right now. Sorry, I got to make this brighter somehow. Good Lord. I'm running out of battery like crazy. I've got to charge this. Let's see if I have a charger. Hold on. Charger. Charger cord. Charger pluggies. Yay! Okay. This video's long, that meant to be anyway, so let's keep going. But excuse me, folks. Sorry to be human. But folks, you need bullion, you need bullets, band-aids, batteries. Hurricane season is basically over here for me. I've got a month. I'm high hopes. I won't have to deal with it, but there's a chance I will. Be smart, folks. Plan ahead. Don't go to Walmart if you don't have to. Folks, they're firing people in the federal government. They're not paying people in the federal government. Private, massive industries, businesses, these mega corporations are firing people. AI is taking jobs. If you're highly skilled at something you do, even just customer service, there'll be a job for you. First of all, rich people, they want to talk to people, not robots. Secondly, folks, you have abilities. Go back to school. Learn AI. There's tons of free courses. You can learn on YouTube stuff. When I was young, you had to read the encyclopedia. You had to learn, you had to retain. Now you can learn everything. I'm Google. I know how to search. You're not smart. But, folks, you can learn a lot on YouTube and Google. You can train your brain, create value. There are free courses. Do something, folks. But 42 million people on benefits is ridiculous. It's supposed to be a safety net, not a cargo carrier to take us all to the next line. Same with minimum wage going crazy high. When I was a kid, the minimum wage jobs were from high schoolers, college kids. Maybe you need a part-time job, so you got your day job. You go work as, you stock boy. You might be a dad. You might be 40, but you're going to stock some groceries because, you're not going to register and you just work your day job. But you got to make some money to support your kids. Maybe your wife goes in and she does a few hours to register while you're home and, you make stuff work. But a living wage where you can grow and get crazy working at the grocery store around the corner, that was my sister's job. That'd be like, it's funny, because Medicaids are right. Healthcares are right. Foods are right. Okay. So I'm going to my son and say, Dad, I want a car. It's a right to have transportation. Okay, good. Who's paying for it? The insurance, the maintenance, buying the car. Who's teaching you how to do this? See, folks, the money's got to come from somewhere. Bottom line, like I said, how I look paying your rent when I ain't pay mine. And as the chick said, where they do that at? I'm out here, folks, but think about it. Fiscally responsibility got us here. This shutdown is not helping anybody. It will in the end, I think. I have a feeling things will get worse before they get better. We'll find out. But sheepdogs unite. I'm out of here. Peace.